Yo, what's up and welcome everybody. My name is Frank Salas and I go by the name The Talented Mr. Salas. If you are watching this means that you are interested in starting your own marketing agency. You're an entrepreneur who's crazy and awesome enough to decide to do their own marketing. Or you're one of my real estate people and you're trying to figure out how to make money from online business. My name's Frank Salas, and I go by the name of Talented Mr. Salas, and this is Millennial Marketers. Today we're talking about branding your agency. Now, I'm going to be coming at this from a few different angles because I got a bunch of different people in my tribe. So again, I've got the marketing agency owners. If you want to start your own marketing agency, or if you already have your own marketing agency and you want to take it to that next level, this is the right place. If you're an entrepreneur who has his own company or has her own company, shout out to my lady bosses, make sure that you take a lot of the science and apply it to your art or your industry. So we're going to cover a lot of foundational stuff about branding. I want to do this show. I found a lot of people weren't doing a great job of branding themselves when it came to their agency or even their product or service. So today I've got somebody who is just a great friend. We've collaborated so many times. If you've been watching my podcast, we've got Sade Wayadu. And Sade Wayadu, first and foremost, she was my first webinar that I ever did online, so we go way back, old school. She's great people. My old assistant is her current assistant, so we're real tight, and she's going to help you out with a lot of great stuff for branding. So my intention and our intention for this show is to shift your thinking about what branding is and how truly important it is to your business. I'm tired of branding being overlooked in all of our industries. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Miss Sade Wayadu. Sade, what's up?
How is everyone doing? Thank you so much for having me on, Frank. I'm really excited to talk about branding these marketing agencies.
Awesome, awesome. So Sade, you know, branding means a lot of things to a lot of people, but I don't think people understand what branding really is. Brandon, can you tell us, basically, in layman's term, third grade English, what is branding?
Third grade English. So what I say is I like to privilege Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, who has created one of these powerful powerhouse brands that's well known around the world. And he says that branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And I always challenge, and I say that at live events when I'm speaking, and then at that moment I challenge people to take out their phone, text some people, maybe their clients, their family members, and ask them, what do you think of my brand? What do you think of my agency or my business? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the name of my business or my name if you're a personal brand? So really getting some feedback from the people who are around you, because there's a lot of things that you may not be able to see. And your goal is for whatever they text you back, I usually five people, it should be in alignment with what you're trying to project in the marketplace. The problem lies when you have five different people saying five different things about your brand, and when it's not in alignment with the words that you want people to know about you. For me, branding is a feeling. It's an intangible emotion and experience. It's how you make people feel, whether you make them feel great or whether you make them feel horrible. And I take that from those multi-billion-dollar like Disney. When I say that, you automatically have this feeling like, ooh, it's exciting. I think about the Cinderella, or I think about the amusement parks around the world. When I say the brand Apple, either you're very excited because you have a bunch of their products, or you are Team Android and you're so mad that I said that word. You have an emotion. It can be positive or negative. And what brand builders don't realize, part of your brand is to be abrasive and get rid of the people that are not for you. And Frank is very good at doing that in the marketplace. You're Frank's kind of people or you're not. You're not going to get his humor and how he's been able to build his personal brand. So that is essential to brand building too. It starts with the intangible experience that you are creating. And then we also have the tangible experience, your logos, your photos, the graphics that you have, the colors that you choose. But so many people just reduce it to the physical things that you see that they don't pay attention to the intangibles. What the intangibles do for an Amazon, for a Disney, or a Apple is make them those multi-billion-dollar companies, because they know that if people are going to buy, they have to have an emotional attachment to our brands. So creating that emotional attachment is so important, and being known for something is important.
Man, there's just so much value that you just dropped right there. I would encourage you guys to really listen to this because we're going to go super deep into branding and how important it is. And I really want to iterate a few key points and maybe shifts because earlier before we started recording and we were talking about big brands and stuff, and it's all about how it makes you feel. And you said something that was just like we don't say go get a tissue. We say go get a Kleenex. And literally my whole life, I'm 30 years old. My whole life, I've never said the word tissue. I've always said the word Kleenex. And then you said something about jacuzzi. I didn't know I didn't know it was called another thing. Is jacuzzi called something else?
A hot tub.
A hot tub. No. Okay. Okay. See, I've been calling it jacuzzi, and that's the power of good branding, and that's where you want to strive to be. Now, when people think about those kinds of products, those kinds of services, and they automatically associate your name or your brand with, and they have that association, it's usually very bold. Can you maybe break down that connection, Sade?
So this is how you have that brand domination when your name becomes synonymous with the product, like a Kleenex, a jacuzzi, Bunt, Velcro. Your name becomes, you don't even know it's a company or a brand because the name is so synonymous with, even you might say, people will say battery, but you might say Duracell. Because the name of the brand is so powerful, it becomes synonymous with the actual item and product. And that is what you want. What do we say when we're searching? Search engines. We say, oh, Google it. There's other search engines besides Google. There's Bing, Yahoo, AOL. But it's become synonymous with searching and finding out information. Go Google it. So this is what happens when you have so much powerful brand domination. Even Coke. Oh, I'm just going to get a Coke. Coca-Cola. They have dominated so much, and that's the #1 most recognized brand in the world. So what I encourage entrepreneurs to do is we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are brands that spend millions and millions of dollars on research and development. All we have to do is take a piece of that $1 million research and development pie and see what's working for them. How have they been able to stand the test of time? Because when people think about that particular product, they think of them. That is what you want people to be saying about you. You want, when somebody says digital marketing for a specific niche, you want them to say your name. You want to be dominant and stand out for something amazing, even if you do a lot of different things. But you want to be known specifically for X, Y, Z. For Z, even if you do X and Y, be known and be extraordinary and phenomenal and world-class at Z, and you will have so many people coming to you that you won't even know what to do with your business.
I love it how you had the Beyonce swag. Well, you said something like you got to do you. You said something that Beyonce says just right now. What was that? Do you remember?
Wait, I did. I don't know. I don't remember the Beyonce reference that I put in there.
I lost it. Sorry about that. So jumping back and double down on your point. So I'm a licensed real estate professional. I have an outsourcing company that provides outsourcing workers for real estate professionals. Now we do it for marketing agencies and every other business owner, but because I'm licensed, because I know that game, because I know their pain points, I can brand myself, my message, and my marketing to those people, and those people love me. And I've been doing that now for 3 years, and now every day, I swear to God, every day I'm getting email, hey, I heard you're the VA guy for real estate professionals. I'm already sold. Guys, I know you're helped this person out, this person in this Facebook group said you're this person over here said you're this. I did some research. You were on this podcast. You were over here. I'm in. I'm sold. Send me a quote. Send me an invoice. I need one right now. And I'm like, hi, I'm Frank. Like, they're already sold before I even say hello. And that's the power of branding right there. So I want to take a question right now from one of our viewers. This is somebody who is a millennial marketer. And you guys can go ahead and join my Facebook group, the Talent Tribe, which is actually going to switch to the millennial marketers. You can go to bit.ly/talented1. And you can join my inner circle where I bring amazing people like Sade Wayadu to help lend our expertise. So this is from Cleston Masters. His company is Elite Inception Design Studio. And he's in Jamaica, man. What up, Cleston? Yo, so Cleston says, Frank and Sade, I'm starting out as an entrepreneur in the services area. And for him, he's doing multimedia. So graphic design, web services, very creative. He's wondering, because he's just starting out, Does he go with a personal brand because it's just him? Or should he start off as a business? And he's contemplating whether it should be us as an agency or me as a professional. Take it away, Sade.
Great question. Should I brand myself or should I brand my biz? Well, I'm going to tell you you should brand both, but which one do you want to focus on the most? Do you want to be the face of your business? Do you want to be that Steve Jobs, or do you want to be the people behind the scenes? So that's really important for you to think about it. So when people are thinking about digital media and graphic design and marketing, you can brand the business. That's a great thing to brand the business. Just brand the business as itself. You can hide behind that brand. One of the benefits of being the personal brand is if you want to be the face and you want to expand your businesses and brands and do more. Because building your brand, your personal brand, will allow you, if you get it really big and you're a major influencer, you'll have this thing that's like a Midas touch. When you go to do something else, oh, you're associated with it, we want to be a part of it. When you start building those raving fans, the crowd of raving fans, they're like, oh, you're doing something new, I want to be a part of it. Now, the advantage of branding your business, if you want to remove yourself, let's say you want to sell it one day, someone else wants to acquire it because it's being so successful and so profitable, you want to, if you have the foresight now to say, okay, I am not going to be the face of this. Eventually, I may want to sell it. I may want to give it to somebody else to do because I have aspirations to do other things. Then the best bet is to brand your business so that it is sellable, or so that it is marketable if somebody else markets it. Because the disadvantage of building a personal brand, if your name is on it and people don't see you associated with it, they're going to be upset because they're buying a piece of you. So there are other things that I want to do where I don't want to be the personal brand. I barely want you to know I'm involved because I understand that I want other people to run it and grow it and eventually have it be sellable, or even, give it to somebody else altogether. So think about that. What is the vision for this? How do I want to be the known person? And then also, if you decide to, I would encourage you, probably because of the business that you have, start with branding the business. You can always decide to market yourself and brand yourself later. If you build the business and people know the name of the business, and then they find out that you were the brains behind the operations, people will still want to work with you. So I've seen that happen. I'll give you an example of someone. She helped build the Jack Canfield brand, Patty Aubrey. Nope, you may not know the name Patty Aubrey, but Patty Aubrey was the right-hand woman behind the Jack Canfield brand. Now, after years of building his brand for him as a company and a personal brand, she is shifting to build her own personal brand, but she can leverage what she did for the business brand that was not hers, but she did all the marketing and, the pricing structures and putting the courses and the content together. She's still the brains behind the operation. So people will know that they may know that bigger brand, the Canfield brand, but because she was associated with it, she can still leverage that as she begins to build her personal brand and starts to speak and train herself. But even with that, I'll tell you, I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to share this, but I got like inside information, even specifically with the Canfield brand. Jack Canfield has been around for decades and decades, and he's a personal brand. So when people hear the Canfield, they want them, or John Maxwell or Damon John, they want the brand, they want the person. The problem is sometimes the person doesn't live forever. The person gets tired and busy. So now they are transitioning and shifting his brand to another one of the products that they sell, because they are trying to kind of make the product or the business brand be better known than the personal brand. So what happens? It will eventually, happen where you need to shift your energy. Maybe you have children. Maybe you don't want to be the personal brand. You don't want to be on the road. You don't want to be the face all the time. So being able to leverage that business brand is important. And you can always build a personal brand out of a business brand. If you are successful, people want to be around successful people, point blank, period. So whatever you grow and they become successful, people will want to gravitate towards it, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand.
Awesome, awesome. And I love how, see, this is the power of having an expert on the show. Like, she can go deep on both sides and give you the pros and cons of each. I want to share with you guys my personal experience and my journey. Again, this is my journey. Everybody's completely different. For me and my goals, and I want to be like maybe president of the world or like Mars of someday or something like that. I want to be worldwide, global famous. So for me, I built up my personal brand first, but I've been building my personal brand my whole life. I started my first business when I was 20. I was the young kid in a room full of old rich people, and I've always had that. So I've always been like the guy who's kind of sort of had, maybe not the Midas touch, but we're getting there, we're getting up there. And I've always had that rep. Well, thank you, Sade. So we always have that rep of like, okay, this guy can make things happen. He's a producer. He's an earner. I like this guy. I want him around. And that personal branding, I wasn't a talented Mr. Sauce back then. I was just like a 23-year-old kid who was like the internet guy. That was me back in the day. And now I'm the talented Mr. Salas. That talented Mr. Salas raises awareness and education for multiple sectors. And through that attention that I get through my personal brand, I then work with my other services. So I have a recruiting agency called Salas Staffing. So it's like Trump. Trump's got Trump International, Trump Holdings, Trump all this. It's branding my name. So for me, my intention is to leave a legacy that will never leave the human race. I want to be like around, at least my last name, for 200 to 500 years, populating Mars, being like the next pilgrims type of stuff. And so for me, I want to make my last name bigger than my first name. So all of my businesses are all created first and foremost to supply me. I'm playing Monopoly. I'm doing everything in-house. And in order to maximize my expenses, I'm going to turn every one of my services for me into business models to serve the marketplace, to make them profitable. So now I'm getting in-house at-cost services with world-class talent that's actually profitable, making me all kinds of money, whether I work or don't work. So for example, I've got a social media marketing agency. And people, when they work with me in that phase, if I'm not in the deal doesn't go through. The deal never, ever, ever goes through. But because of that, I get to charge a lot higher. I get to select my clients. People demand working with me. So just wanted to break that down. And by the way, I want to go back a little bit to the Beyonce reference. It was say my name, because you're talking about the brands talking about their names.
I always enjoy incorporating Beyonce into the things that I do.
So you said another thing, that the person doesn't live forever. And this is like great. And I thought about this the other day. So for me, I was like, man, I'm going to die one day. How can I keep this going? And I thought about somebody like Napoleon Hill. He's got an institution, and all these other people like John Maxwell, they've got like certifications. So their personal brand was so strong that they've made actual courses and regimens and
able to
standards forever. So awesome.
That's the next level. So you can decide to sell, you can decide to franchise your business or license it out. So you're seeing the licensing happening with Damon John Maxwell, Jack Canfield's doing licensing. So the name is living, but at that point it becomes bigger than the person. So you have to decide what you want. So for Frank, he told you what his aspirations and goals are. He wants to live this legacy, and I've had this conversation with I think 8-figure, 9-figure earners. I'm like, at that point, you want to live beyond your humanly body. You want to live that legacy. So it's a different conversation. So you have to decide on as much as you can possibly now. You can always change your mind. What do you want to be that big name brand? And also, even when I want you to think about Apple, when Steve Jobs passed away, it impacted Apple's business. The same thing happened to Wendy's with Dave Thomas. They were synonymous, where they forced Wendy, who was actually his daughter, to come out of hiding. Like, Wendy, you got to do something. And Wendy is a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't even want to come outside. And they was like, you got to come, because people are like, they're like, we saw Dave. We need Wendy to show up, and she better have red hair, even though I heard she doesn't have red. So that does happen when there's a shift of power, a shift of influence. It can impact the business and the business bottom line. But it can go beyond, like George Foreman Grill. He doesn't make those grills. He just put his name on it. He licensed his name out, and it became bigger than him. It became bigger. You have a generation of people who probably don't even know George Foreman was a boxer, because the grills became more famous. So you want to decide, like, who do I want to be, and what kind of legacy do I want to lead?
Awesome, awesome. So we're going to shift gears. So that's great for the service provider. Talked a lot about service. I want to talk to my entrepreneur crowd right now. So I met a gentleman out here. His name is Manish Sethi. Yo, Manish, shout out. He is the CEO and founder of Pavlok. He's been featured on the Steve Harvey Show, Shark Tank. He's got the little blue verified check mark on Facebook. So he is a player. He's in the 7-figure range, and he's a great guy. But even somebody at that level has challenges. And right now, one of his biggest challenges is he's not getting enough sales. So he's at this point where if he sells too little, he's in trouble. If he sells too much, he's in trouble. So he has to stay in the middle because he can't go either way. And so for him to get to the next level, he needs to jump past that barrier that he has right now, because he'll hit that barrier and then he won't be able to deliver. And he can't. And if he delivers, he won't have the cash flow to be able to be sustainable. So he's like, how do I get there? And I think that branding for him is going to help him corner the market and just excel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen so you can kind of see his website, and we can share that with you. Sade's already saw that, so just give me a half second, guys, to get that loaded up, and we'll get you here all Gucci. So, all right, I'll be sharing my screen right now, and you should be able to see this, Miss Sade. So this is Pavlok. So it's a wearable technology. So we're at a party, and he's like, yo, Frank, put this on. It's like a watch. I was like, oh, am I the flat? It's just going to make me go super speed. And I'm like playing around, just being Frank. And I hit it twice, and it shocks me. And I'm like, ah! And I'm like, I'm not expecting this to shock me. And I'm freaking out. And I'm like, man, what the hell is this? You know, I'm going to sue you, and just like all this stuff. And he's like, dude, this is what I do. And he broke it down to me. So this is a wearable that actually changes bad habits. So if you bite your nails, you don't get enough sleep, you're constantly procrastinating, you're having negative thoughts, this will actually shock you and get you to change therapy. Like, you know, it's nuts, or change your habits. But this is where he's at right now. He's doing amazing, but he, like everybody else, is super ambitious, and he is committed. Literally, he wears this shirt every day. He wears this every day. Every time I talk to him, every time I'm around him, he's talking about this. Like, he is bought in, committed. I love the guy, you know, and he's all about this brand. So what thoughts do you have for somebody like this at this level from a branding perspective?
It just me where the name came from. I'm like, okay, now I get it. I was like, when you said that, I was like, Pavlok, oh, psychology and doing these changing bad habits. Now I get it. Now I get it. I forgot who the scientist is, but it's like have something. I get it now. I had to have that. So the one thing that makes life easier for people is if they understand things. Confused minds don't buy. So if they don't understand your product or they don't understand the name, they will automatically just write it off as like, okay, whatever, I don't get it. So the key for this is the branding. If you want this name to be synonymous with changing bad habits, and it's going to require So first, where would I start? First, I would say start with, what is it going to take you to scale? Because that's what the issue is. The systems are breaking down when you're trying to scale. Frank and I have had experiences with this in the past. So the systems are breaking down. So you have that part where you're startup. You have ideation. You want to see if the idea is working. You have proof of concept. You've made money from it, proof of concept. So now you're trying to go to the next level. You're trying to duplicate the process and make more money, hire more staff, but there's a breakdown in your systems that is not allowing you to go to the next level. So the key is to figure out, number-wise, where is the breakdown? What happens when if you could easily sell 1,000 units a month, what happens when we sell 1,001? What specifically is the problem? What happens when we sell 500 units instead of 1,000? What is it? So find out where the special number is, and I think you have that, but tell us when you go 1 unit up, what is the problem? So identifying what the problem is and where it occurs, and developing, you and your team, a system to combat that. Because that's what it is. It's a scaling issue. So I'm trying to go to the next level, but every time I try to go up the mountain, I slide back down.
Right.
Think about it as a mountain. You're climbing up the mountain, you got some traction, and then as soon as you get to that part, there's an avalanche, and it's making you slide back down. So you have to identify what new system, what new technology, what new staff member do I need to have in place in order for me to continue to go up the mountain. And each level requires some new technology or some new information or new staffing, because it's not going to be like, what got you to where you are is not going to get you to the next, not going to get you to where you want to be, the next piece. So there's a piece in the system that is breaking down, identifying what that piece in the system is, and then hiring somebody specifically who has experience helping with that challenge and getting them to fix that challenge. Because the answer would not necessarily be people say, oh, get more sales, increase your visibility. If I'll give you an example, people used to go on the Oprah Winfrey show, and it's called the Oprah effect. You would go on the Oprah show, she'd say, oh, go buy my lotions or go buy my product. And people, millions of people would listen to her directive and go to that website or go to that place and break the website or break the place down, where businesses were shut down for 3 to 6 months because they could not handle the demand on the supply. So some people would say more brand visibility and more PR will be the answer. But if you can't handle the workload, that's not the answer immediately. Fix the system. You know, they say every problem is a sign of a failing system. Fix the system, and then you amplify it with visibility, brand recognition, more PR, doing more videos, because live video is absolutely amazing. This is the technology that you're creating. We need more information. I saw that there was a video on your website. People are going to want to see demonstrations, kind of like infomercials. How does this work for us? Then once you have figured out the system to scale your business and scale your operation, that is not going to drive you crazy and it's not going to have everything tumbling and crashing, then you amplify it with advertising and visibility and going on a brand awareness campaign. But first, fix the system. Then increase the brand visibility and make it a household name.
Awesome. And that's perfect. So we're going to switch gears just a little bit. And we have Eli Sanchez, who's from Chicago, Illinois, with Cronia Media. He asked, should you brand your agency around a niche?
My answer is yes. It makes life easier. We had this conversation offline. I said yes. If I was going to go the agency route, which I am thinking about, I'm going to have a specific niche, and my goal is to dominate that niche. I'm going to be everywhere those people are. I'm going to be advertising where they are. I'm going to be targeting them, their competitors. They're going to know me and only me. It's going to be an omnipresent experience. What happened? You dominate one niche. Let's say, I'm going to pick something random. The fitness industry. I was going to say pet stores, but I'll say fitness. You dominate all of the CrossFit. You're like the CrossFit marketer. Everyone is coming to you because they're opening up their individual CrossFit locations, and you are the one for the tri-state area, wherever you live. They know if they want to market a CrossFit location, they need to come